Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. I don't think I need to tell you that the NFL offseason always brings its share of surprises. And this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers are squarely in the middle of some intriguing trade rumors that could shake the entire AFC. And no, I'm not talking about some small gossip. We're talking about a potential blockbuster involving one of the Steelers' most valuable assets, TJ Watt. Yes, the same TJ Watt, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, the guy who's become the heart and soul of the Steelers' defense, and someone whose future in Pittsburgh is currently shrouded in a bit of uncertainty. You see, Watt has been holding out of mandatory minicamps this offseason, and that's never a good sign. It's not just about missing some drills or some reps. It's a message that the player is looking for a new contract, and the Steelers, as of now, haven't quite reached an agreement with him. That's caused rumors to swirl about the possibility of Watt being moved, whether during the offseason or even closer to the trade deadline, if the situation doesn't get resolved. The NFL is a business, and sometimes, even the most loyal and talented players find themselves in a position where they're on the trading block. But let's be clear, nothing is set in stone. The Steelers have always shown loyalty to Watt, and there's been no official indication they're shopping him around. Still, in today's NFL, never say never. And that's where the Philadelphia Eagles come into play. For a team that's been aggressive in recent years, making bold moves to stack their roster with talented players, the idea of acquiring a player like Watt isn't far-fetched. Eagles GM Howie Roseman has built a reputation for pulling off daring trades, and adding a player of Watt's caliber would be a statement move, especially as Philadelphia looks to contend again for the Super Bowl. Imagine the Eagles' defense with Watt rushing the passer. How could opposing quarterbacks sleep at night? It could be a game-changer, not just for the Eagles but for the entire NFC. But here's the thing, trading Watt isn't simple. It takes two willing parties. The Steelers would have to decide if they're ready to part ways with their star pass rusher, especially considering he's been a cornerstone of their defense for years. And right now, there's no indication that the Steelers are actively shopping him. Watt just held out of minicamp because he wants to get paid what he feels he's worth, and you can bet he's prepared to hold out into training camp if necessary. That puts the Steelers in a tricky position. Do they risk losing him for nothing if they don't come to an agreement? Or do they entertain offers that could bring in draft picks and young talent? And speaking of talent, that's where things get really interesting. Recently, Andrew Filipponi, a well-known Steelers insider from 93.7 The Fan, went on Sports Radio 94 WIP and floated a pretty compelling trade proposal. He suggested that the Steelers could consider trading Watt for a promising young linebacker, Tomlin, along with a late-round pick in the 2026 draft. Now I know what you're thinking, Tomlin. That's a name that might not be on everyone's radar yet, but this kid has been making waves lately. Tomlin, a linebacker out of Georgia, really burst onto the scene last year in 2024. He finished the season with 6.5 sacks over 16 games, and that includes 10 starts. But what's even more impressive is how he stepped up in the postseason, racking up 4 sacks across just 4 games. That kind of production, especially in the playoffs, shows he's got the talent and the temperament to perform under pressure. Experts like Reuben Frank from NBC Sports have been bullish on Smith's trajectory, predicting he's probably going to take another leap forward in 2025. This makes him an interesting target for the Steelers, who are always looking to build a younger, more dynamic defense. Now, why would the Steelers consider this? Well, for starters, it's about succession planning. Watt is still at the top of his game, but he's also reaching a point where durability and age become considerations. Trading him for a younger, ascending player like Tomlin could be a smart move to ensure the Steelers maintain their edge rush presence without relying solely on veteran talent. Plus, the draft pick adds some flexibility, more options to build through the draft, develop young players, and keep the team competitive for years to come. Of course, this isn't just about the Steelers and the Eagles. It's about the bigger picture, how this move could reshape the AFC North. Right now, the Bengals, Ravens, and Browns are all making their moves, and the division is as competitive as ever. The Steelers, with their solid roster, have a real shot at contending, but they need the right pieces to put them over the top. Acquiring a player like Nolan Smith could inject some much-needed youth and explosiveness into their pass rush, which has been a point of concern in recent seasons. And let's not forget the impact on the Steelers' defense as a whole. TJ Watt isn't just a pass rusher, he's a leader, a guy who elevates the entire unit. Losing him would be a blow, no doubt about it. But if they get the right return, say, a promising young linebacker and a draft pick, that could soften the blow and even set up the team for future success. It's a tough call, no doubt, but one that could define the franchise's direction in the coming years. Now, shifting gears a little, I want to talk about what this means for the Steelers' current roster and their prospects for 2024 and beyond. Last season, the Steelers finished with a solid record, but there was a clear need to improve their pass rush consistency. TJ Watt was the anchor, no doubt, but injuries and fatigue started to show later in the season. If they could add a player like Nolan Smith, who's proven he can produce in big moments, it could really help the Steelers' defense become even more formidable. And let's remember, the Steelers have one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Every season, the energy and support in Acrisure Stadium are electric. Fans are always hungry for a championship, and that's something that's been missing since their last Super Bowl win in 2008. The team has had some close calls since then, and the core of their roster has aged a bit, but with smart moves in the offseason, they're still contenders. The key is to keep that window open as long as possible, and acquiring young talent like Nolan Smith could be a step in that direction. Of course, there's always the question of whether the front office feels the same way. Kevin Colbert's legacy as the Steelers' former GM was built on shrewd drafting and smart trades. And now, with Omar Khan taking the reins, they're trying to strike the same balance, building a roster that's competitive now but also sustainable for the future. Moving Watt for young talent and draft capital might be a strategic gamble, but it's one that some analysts believe could pay off big time. And I want to throw in a little bit of historical perspective here. The Steelers have never been shy about making bold moves when the time is right. Remember when they traded away some key players in the past to rebuild or reset? It's part of their DNA. Now, with the NFL evolving faster than ever, they might see this as an opportunity to retool their defense without losing their championship core. It's also worth considering how fans are reacting to all these rumors. Steelers Nation is passionate, and they love Watt. He's a fan favorite for a reason. But at the same time, they understand that football is a business, and sometimes the best move for the team's long-term success involves tough decisions. If a trade like this does happen, it'll surely spark debates across social media, talk radio, and fan forums. Some will say it's too soon to move on from Watt, while others will see it as a smart, forward-looking move that keeps the Steelers competitive for years to come. In the end, what we're really waiting for is some clarity. Will the Steelers pull the trigger? Will Watt stay or go? Will Nolan Smith become a household name in Pittsburgh? All these questions are swirling around, and the offseason is just getting started. But one thing is for sure, this potential trade scenario has the NFL and Steelers fans buzzing. It's a reminder that football is always evolving, and sometimes the biggest moves come when you least expect them. So Steelers fans, stay tuned because this story is far from over. The draft, training camp, and the entire offseason will reveal what the Steelers have planned. And no matter what happens, one thing remains true: you're part of a passionate community that lives and breathes Steelers football. We've seen incredible moments, heartbreaks, and triumphs over the years, and I believe the best is yet to come. The Steelers are always in the mix, and this offseason could be one of the most pivotal in franchise history. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Steelers should trade Watt? Would Nolan Smith be the perfect replacement? Or do you believe they should hold on to their star and work out a new contract? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our beloved team.